and welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm John.
No, I'm John.
I'm Cathy.
I'm Cathy.
I forgot how wonderful Gonzo's impressions were.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode 200 and what, Cathy?
I wasn't paying attention.
You write it down.
Look, I'm just going to say I have chemo brain, and I'm going to blame it on that.
We're on episode 248. Today's podcast, we're going to be talking about coming back to painting and shaking off the rust.
Hey, Big Jim Slate Gaming.
Type stuff. So, today is Cathy's first day back. Welcome back, Cathy. We miss you and we love you.
Rathy says I'm a bit low on the volume. I don't know if you can pump it up on your side, Gonzo, but my
I'll give you a little bit of boost.
my Skype volume is at max.
Give her a boost like she's a hobbit and needs to get to the table for food.
Speaking of, I'm going to be eating a little bit of food right now because I just took meds, which requires food. Okay, this pear is hard.
It sounded hard. I'm like, oh, she got some sort of chips there? It sounded chip-like, vaguely. But no, it's a pear. Well, actually, is it a pear or is it just one?
It's a number of slices. But yeah, it's
At least it's not an apple with a fork. You can eat an apple with a fork if you want to. I'm not going to judge much. No more than I do for everything else people do.
look. I do eat apples with forks.
Hey. Rather says, I figure our body's not 18 anymore. The hammer's not so much longer now. I have a solution. More water.
Like Nivik.
Don't get hangovers.
Yep.
Yes, cook you like Nivik.
So Cathy is back. Cathy will be joining us whenever week she feels that she can come back. Off and on, whenever we will just message her and say, hey, you coming? You're not? We don't care. We're just happy that you're here, Cathy. Everybody's missed you. Everybody's can't wait to see you.
Yeah, Banyan says hi, but he's not going to stop watching the fucking TV downstairs to jump on and do it himself.
God damn it, Banyan.
I say that often.
But today's episode...
No, Arathu, it does not. I mean, like, water. Doesn't have to be like this, but, you know, you've been drinking, I've been drinking.
Water.
Just water.
Actual
Like this.
H2O. Not like this.
32 ounces of water.
Let's go into our sponsors. We want to thank Turbo Dork for being awesome and providing really cool metallic and color shifting paints.
Hey, thanks, Turbo Dork.
We also want to thank Midnight Heroes. We will have Brian on the show to talk about his new Kickstarter coming up pretty soon. He's going to be doing an STL Kickstarter for some new models and such. And he's actually said he'd send me a couple to paint on stream. And I'm like, cool, even better. And printing them off.
Cookie, if there was gin in my cup, it would be Bombay Sapphire.
I can't find any gin anywhere. It's always like just no gin. Like, what the fuck? Why do you not have gin? Apparently the rednecks army don't like gin.
I need to try Rathu's recipe, the bramble. Because that sounds
Sorry,
really
Gonzo, we're derailing you.
Oh, yeah, you just like... the gin conversation was much more important than Parabellum War Games that makes a conquest. It provides a quality tabletop game that you can also get a discount on. We thank you for their patronage. Also, Muse on Minis. We want to thank them for letting us host all the files and putting it on everywhere. And make sure you check them out because they have a discount code. And about that gin, if we're going to use it, we're going to use what type there, Cathy?
Bombay Sapphire.
Bombay Sapphire, brought to you by Bombay Sapphire.
Not really, but I mean, if they want to, I'm game. Look, I haven't had a gin mule in a long time.
I haven't had alcohol since May of last year.
I mean, it couldn't be May of this year. That's the future.
But you know what? I saw my oncologist last week, and I asked her about it, if how she felt, if she felt that it was safe for me to go out and be amongst people,
Mm-hmm.
and also if it were okay for me to have a couple of drinks. And she said, yes, both of those things are fine. She said, just be aware that your tolerance for alcohol is going to be lower.
Much lower because you've lost weight and you don't have that normal tolerance from doing it a lot.
Plus, God knows what weird chemical shit's going on inside my
Strain on
body.
your kidney for chemical shit. Yeah, yeah, you don't
And
want to take it
yeah,
easy.
so, but she said, yeah, that's okay.
Hey, that means that those expensive drinks, if you go out to like a restaurant, I think will be great because they're gonna get you.
But you know what she said about being, seeing people is, uh, and I, and I was like, and like hugging, she said, human contact is very important for mental well-being.
Oh yeah.
And you know, she said if it's among people that you trust to be healthy, who know what you're, you know, going through, who are not going to put you at risk, then yes, go ahead and by all means hug people. So, so that's where I'm at. And also wear a mask, she said. And also, I'm gonna bring like a box of masks to where I go, and be like, you don't have a mask here. Here, have one, and then we can be closer.
Then, then you can get in my personal space.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll have some people around me that are like, you know,
A
Yeah.
barrier.
yeah,
Walk around. You can get that. You can get a belt and put pool noodles on the end of the belt, so wherever you walk, the pool noodles are sticking out and just like
yeah, no.
smacking people.
And
There's
that's
a
why Gonzo's
barrier.
weird.
So
Hey.
yeah, I have plans.
So, do we have any shout outs this week? Who is our Legionnaires? We got
Yeah,
any
I
shout
don't
outs
know.
this week?
My week was a son of a fucking bitch.
I don't
So I
think.
don't really know.
I can't remember. I didn't check or had anything that was
Simple
going on.
syrup.
Burt Bacharach died.
Oh yeah,
That was
shit.
that one. Yep. I knew
Damn.
there was something. I just couldn't remember.
I saw him mentioned and I didn't see it come up as a rest in peace, but I was wondering, like, you
It
don't
was
usually hear about Burt Bacharach, so I
it
wonder if
was
it's
so
because he
sad, and
passed.
he wrote some of the best known songs on the planet.
Yeah.
And I just found out today that Always Something There to Remind Me was written by him.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs like that. You're like, oh, I'm sure that the artist who recorded it wrote it. Nah, son.
Mm-mm.
I'm saving
Yeah.
the recipe for the bramble to my computer so I can
Doesn't
try it
that
sometime.
sound really good?
It does. It sounds
I
very good.
I want to make it. I want to drink it. I wonder mm, I wonder if that's something like bartenders know. If I was like, can I have a bramble? They'd be looking at me like,
Nah,
what
I mean,
weird shit is
honestly, most of
this?
them
Because
nowadays just will look it up online. Oh yeah, we do that.
that's good. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because Arathi is Norwegian, so
I mean, you missed. I unfortunately don't have it here today because I didn't go to the grocery store in a while. But there was a new drink I would drink, and that I'm not drinking tonight. That is called I call it a Code Fireball, which is Fireball and Mountain Dew Code Red, and it's fucking tasty.
huh, I would try that.
But yeah, so Burt Bacharach, it's funny because most people would know him because he's sort of half a joke in the Austin Powers movies, but
Yeah.
it's only half a joke because it's not making fun of him really at all. It is kind of an homage to the songs he writes. So
He made an appearance in an episode of The Nanny too.
oh wow, yeah. So I mean, well, cheers to Burt Bacharach. I'll probably listen to some of his songs afterwards. So, we got to get to what we're drinking. Gonzo, what are you drinking? I saw a glass earlier.
Doing some Maker's Mark again. Just a little shot of Maker's Mark. I mean, I've got the bottle there.
That water straight up.
In my blue cup is tea, Earl Grey, hot.
That's so great. I love that. Well, I have the water. You guys have got a couple bottles of water here, and I am drinking some Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie liqueur. My last bottle for now. I will say that it was completely full before we started the pre-ramble. The pre-ramble. So, there you go.
Guys, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening. If you need us, we're here. Reach out. We will help you any way we can. Also, Cathy, welcome back. We've missed you. We love you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cookie wants to know, Gonzo, can you drink the liquor that he can't because of his liver?
I got you covered. I will drink this sip of Maker's Mark just for you, Cookie.
Oh, and a cookie? Cookie.
Everybody had a drink just for you, Cookie. We will be your stunt liver.
Stunt livers.
This is like hard apple juice with just a hint of maybe cinnamon in it.
I think I have a bottle of that or something. I have some type of
That
apple
does
cider
sound
thing.
Good.
It's my favorite. Like, El Marshall was making fun of it, and I bought him a bottle, and we tried it, and he's like, holy shit, that's smooth. That is great. It is my favorite wish to drink without mixing. I mean, to be honest, Cookie, through up until my, mid-30s or so, I was the sober drinker, so it's okay. Just think, you get to remember everything stupid they do and hold it over their heads. And now, in the cell phone era, you probably have videos of them being stupid, and that's even better.
I have a video of somebody that got really, really tore up at a convention. And she threw shoes at me.
Convention? How unusual.
People getting drunk at a convention? No, I mean,
no.
Someone did get so drunk between the time they arrived and the time we were going to dinner that they had to wheel them back to the room in a luggage cart when we went to War Machine Weekend. That didn't happen. Spoiler, that did in fact happen. And that time was maybe an hour and a half, and he was so fucked up he couldn't walk.
Oh, yeah.
He is... Yes, Legion, it was chilly. And he has since changed his ways from what I understand, which is good.
Yeah.
I have seen it at every convention I've ever been to.
Yeah, I know. Someone gets fucking super toasted.
Yep. So, the podcast episode for the night is about getting back into painting, brought to you by our great friend Cathy, because she's going to try to start doing some stuff and trying to get the ring rust out of her hands, but she has a very special unboxing that she said she needs to do for us before we get started. So, Cathy,
let her eat first. She's eating. Let her eat.
Oh,
let's talk about other stuff first. Then she can unbox when she's done eating.
Yeah. I heard you at least one of my strawberry
she's took
wafers.
Medicine. She's got to eat.
With the incredibly unnatural pink color, which
I mean, that's a totally natural pink color for strawberry. They're totally
sure. It's not artificial at all.
Cathy, I don't know what you're talking about. That is a totally natural pink color. Strawberries come in all the time.
All the time. While we're talking about the subject, I'm going to be working on my BattleTech minis and doing a no oil wash on all my weapons for my War Machine models, excuse me.
I have a loaded question for you, Gonzo.
Uh-huh.
Did you change your list again?
No, have not changed my list.
What?
Have not changed my list.
Shocked
I wanted to use this list a while back, but I didn't know if I had it done correctly, and then I had to get the model, and so it's still there. It's still ready to go. I got to turn in my list to the Wolfnet guys to make sure it's all copacetic, which it is. It should be based on what they're doing, so... Other than that, so I'll be working on those. while we talk about it, I'm going to show off one of the elf models that I worked on. I took a picture of it and showed some people, so you'll have to. I'll show it again. Done all with 99% contrast paint. Took me like no time at all. Type stuff. I don't know how it's going to show up on stream. So whenever you're ready, Cathy, just say, hey, I'm ready for my unboxing, and we'll get to it.
I am ready. So,
there you go.
This unboxing, you have to understand that last May I became ill, and to a degree where I couldn't paint anymore. And I haven't painted since last May. And I sat down at the desk. I hadn't even sat down here at this desk in this chair because this chair was too uncomfortable for me as I was at the time. So this is my first time sitting back at my painting desk, seeing all my models that were primed or ready to be primed or, half done. And I came across this. This is my Masterson wet palette. It has not been opened since last May. And I did not clean it out. So,
in your defense, things happen a little quick there.
Let's see. Is it? I suspect it might just be dried out, but let's just find out.
It's not a present.
This is like Al Capone's fault. It might be interesting. It might not be. As I suspected.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
A little bit of fungus among us?
Totally dry.
Yeah, looks fine.
Yeah, that's like
parchment paper with the sponge attached. I'm not even going to peel it off. I'm just going to chuck that. I have other sponge material.
Yeah.
Can you like throw that and dent it, like stick into the wall? Is it like hard enough to like?
Is it like a Chinese fighting muffin?
Yeah.
It's a callback for those of you who watched that movie.
No.
At least there's not a ton of
you really could
hurt somebody.
A bit of a cut there on the edge there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not like so. Here's the palette itself. I mean,
it's fine.
The bottom and the top.
Just rinse it off, kind of wipe it out a bit.
It looks like it had been cleaned recently before I put those couple of bits of paint on there. Like there was a new pristine paper with just a couple little dollops of paint. So whatever I was doing.
Well, Arthur, if you're worried about fungus in your wet palette, and you may go for long enough that occasionally it does dry out, and it also does a double duty of holding down the corners of your parchment paper, put some pennies in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It actually legitimately does help.
I usually just, throw my paper away and rinse out. Every time I throw my parchment paper away, rinse out the sponge, and I wash out the whole wet palette. Because
that's the best thing I like about this thing. It just even if the
easy.
sponge gets too bad, I've got an extra sponge or two in here, and then they have a newer version if I need to.
Maybe they have to be older pennies too, because the new ones aren't even copper anymore.
I don't know. I mean, who carries change anymore? It's like using cash.
I have old coins.
I mean, some.
Not super old coins, but I
have some, but honestly, like the pandemic. Cash stopped for the most part.
Yeah, but also
some people have cash nowadays. I'm like,
the hell?
The bank doesn't take change to sort through our bank.
No,
they don't do that anymore. So I'm like, what do I do with this? You hold jar of change.
Then when you want to retire, those are gonna be worth something.
Oh sure, yeah.
To whoever's left.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to collect all that shit at some point. Turn in your coins. Then at that point, they're worth something. We should stop using pennies anyways. They're not worth it. That is not on topic, though.
Pennies?
Pennies are not
I
on
mean,
topic.
it sort of was on topic.
I mean,
As to
yeah, it started on
antibacterial
topic, but we've
aid or
gotten pretty far
antifungal aid
afield.
in your wet palate.
Pretty far afield from it, but yes, fair enough. Yeah, we don't really use pennies. I mean, I don't use cash so much. I mean, I will occasionally get cash out because the deli I buy stuff for has a really, really shitty credit card deal. And if I have cash, I will pay with cash.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I like them. They make good food. So good at food, I had to actually make a resolution to only go there twice a week because it's that good at breakfast.
Ooh.
Otherwise, I'll go like week.
Speaking of things that taste really good, and I'm totally going off topic now too, because
We've
I want
never
to talk
talked about
Food
food.
is
right
always
now.
on topic.
My friend sent me this Nongshim ramen bowls.
Uh-huh.
And I had one for lunch. It was so amazing. As far as like an instant ramen goes,
Like,
unbelievable.
when I bought that Vite ramen, literally realized that the quality of ramen really does matter, but I'm not sure it matters enough compared to the price difference. Because the price difference between the Vite ramen and like fucking, standard shitty ramen is significant.
Like I like my shitty Maruchan ramen.
Yeah, it's great. Like I need a
Um,
snack. Boom, go. Also,
but let
don't
me
make
tell
soup
you,
out of it because I'm not as much of a soup guy. I'm not a
yeah,
ramen
I
soup
always
guy as
put
much.
less liquid in it.
Yeah, I don't want. Like honestly, I put very little in it, just enough to keep it wet enough to get the sauce around.
Mm-hmm.
Super salty, but tasty. But
I only put like part of the sauce packet in it, or salt,
I
seasoning.
must use
So
all of it.
it's not as salty for me.
I mean, I like salty. That's why I got along with Trevor Christensen. No, nothing. That's a War Machine joke, Gonzo.
I got it. I laughed. I chuckled.
He tittered.
Legionnaires
He
got it.
tittered a bit. It was a
Second
little
time's come this
titter, I
weekend.
think I heard.
No, I mean I do like a good quality ramen. So good. Like spending a little extra money will matter. But the stuff I was getting like had the best noodles, but I don't like the way the sauce, the packet went in and made it because it never quite fully dissolved. So the broth was just the tiniest bit of gritty.
Oh,
Not like
I
bad enough.
love that this one had a packet of dry seasoning stuff to mix in, but it also had this black garlic oil stuff in another packet that you pour into it. But also in the ramen noodle stuff itself, it had slices of garlic.
Oh my, yeah, shit, that's awesome.
So being
Look,
the
if you
whole
had
thing was super garlicky, and I had to take an antacid afterwards because garlic doesn't get along with me that well.
have
But
you
it
had
was
like the
so
yakisoba
delicious.
bowls? Like they make these little one serving yakisoba that's fucking great. It has a little bit of veggie pack you put in there on one side that rehydrates a bit. It's like for a cheap meal, it's fucking great. I mean, it's like a cup of
Yeah,
noodles.
we had some of those, like the frozen ones.
Yeah, those are great. No, they're
Yeah.
not frozen. It's actually like just dry, but it's
These were stick it in the freezer kind, but they were individual little things.
yeah. I mean, you can do a lot with that stuff. That's really great. Oh, I got you didn't hear. In my future, and unfortunately, I won't be able to share with you because, of course, we don't live near each other. But I bought a Dutch oven so I can start cooking chili and stuff because one of my new employees heard that I was lamenting canned chili being shit and bought me gave me a chili cookbook she had. So that is
Nice.
on my menu to make. I just need to get a
Oh,
weekend.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm totally committed to making some good chili.
Maybe my mom's hot dish recipe too.
There you go. I mean, anything cooking there, I want to try because my mom's beef stew recipe, which I love, like people have made really good beef stew for me. El Marshall and his wife make great beef stew, but it's not my mom's beef stew. Like if my
This
mom
one
was
is
like, "I need you something tough," she's like,
I
"I'm making
love
beef
beef
stew for
stew.
you." You're like, "Oh, You're making beef stew. You got me to do something really tough, but I don't fucking care because I'm getting beef stew. Not that I wouldn't do anything for my mom anyways, but if she wishes to bribe me with beef stew, I will take it.
You're not going to argue the
I would do
consequences.
that. Yeah.
Normally, she just gets upset because I meet her at McDonald's because she goes there with all her friends from church, and rather than having me wait at home till she shows up because she doesn't know when it's going to be, she has me meet her there. Then she gets upset that I buy her food rather than her buying me food. But whatever. All right, topic.
I would eat your mom's beef stew.
At some point, maybe we'll see. Because man, that's on my list to cook. That's gonna make me fatter. It's just too bad because I was losing weight. But for beef stew, I'll take that sacrifice.
Yeah, I got nothing. Painting. What? I was just watching Gonzo like do
I was
whatever it
trying
is
to
that
my stream pros.
whatever it is that he's
Just a null oil wash on all
poking around on there.
my
Oh, your weapon.
my weapons for my warjacks.
It's weird.
Mm.
I
Bold
just wash
move,
after.
leaving the jar out on the table like
Oh, I
that
know.
without any support.
I'm pretty. I actually left one open overnight. Came back and like, John, you fucking moron. It was okay. It didn't even dry out
Oh,
that much. I
sure,
was just like,
sure.
Jesus, you're asking for it then.
Yeah,
I've only had one
just
spill recently.
asking for it.
Actually, they're on these pants because I got a spot that's finally started to come out of. I think it was actually Sarah from Cephia that got on my pants after spilling it. But that's the hard part about separate parts is trying to paint them like that
Yeah.
because the move and all. Like I know that trying to do Cable's base, I still have to finish the effect for it. But I
The old GW washes sound like a baby crawled into them and then died and was rotting. That they were disgusting.
I can't argue with that. Actually, it sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So, how to get back into painting after being away for a bit because of various reasons?
Well, I mean, it happened to me several years ago when I got a job and I had 2 years where I was working at that job and my hours and my commute were such that I had maybe an hour and a half uh between when I got home from work and when I went to bed.
Yikes.
Once I ate and, took care of business, it
Yeah.
just there was no time to do anything. Uh so Jim and I just sat on the couch and we would just sit there and eat dinner and talk.
Chill.
I didn't,
Decompress. Yeah.
you know, I didn't have the TV on because if we had the TV on, then we wouldn't be talking. And it's like you know, I'm missing my husband. So like I need to talk, you
Mhm.
know.
It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of things going around now about that kind of thing and having time aside from work. Um, but yeah, so like, how do you do that? How do you get back? I mean, I know when I just stopped painting. Didn't make the time for it. I put models together like nobody's business, but I wouldn't paint too often, and getting back into it was tough.
Yeah.
I would
And on
say, go ahead.
on weekends,
Stuff's going on.
yeah, you just feel like you're so exhausted, if you've got a manual job where it's physical, you're exhausted bodily, you just want to sit on the couch, or
It's
there's
just as
also
bad
other
if you have a
things you
mental
still
job
need to get done
because
around the house.
you just the mental exhaustion's a real thing too. People,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
body's willing, but the mind's like, nope.
some people with the mental exhaustion will be like, well, painting is an outlet, but the physical exhaustion was such for me that I just was like, I'm just gonna sit, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna sit on the couch and
and
watch
chill.
a movie or,
Yeah, it's
you know,
sometimes you need to do that, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to get back in. I would say that literally, I started to make a time, for it, where I would just go. I have one podcast I generally listen to. I would listen to that podcast for how long it was, because they're generally between an hour and an hour and a half. And I would paint that entire time every Sunday. Just make time. If I knew it was going to be busy Sunday, I'd try and make time on Saturday. And I would just paint for that time. And then Hobby Street came up, so I just started painting for that as
Yeah.
most. And
And
for
of
anyone
course,
wondering, go
I, in addition to my work, working at the place during the week, I had travel on the weekends to the conventions,
hmm
sell the t-shirts and stuff. And so that's like half my weekends every month.
Yeah,
So,
it's
there was just
no time.
no time. And
And also, if you're
at a
not playing the games,
convention,
it's hard to spend the time. Like, we like painting for the most part, but if you're not playing the games, in some cases, it's hard to paint the models.
it's hard to get the motivation. Like when I was playing my Ogre Kingdoms army, I had a lot of motivation to finish
hmm
that, and I was just this close to done, and they came out with the new army book, and I'm talking about not Age of Sigmar. I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
creative, yeah.
you know, uh, and they came out with the new models, the scrap launcher and the big cannon thing, and
The
the
fire breathing shaman guys and all that.
and the Mornfang cavalry.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got those. I got Mornfang cavalry, and I got one of those stone mammoth things. I don't
hmm
remember what any of these things are called because it's been years. And of course they're called. I don't know if they're called different things now, but I hear ogres are good in Age of Sigmar. But I won't be playing for a while.
Yeah.
Uh, I
I
was
mean,
I was enjoying Warcry too, you
yeah.
know.
And Arthur says
So
wanting to play something is my biggest motivation. It gets me going to start on the minis. It chooses my projects for me. But when I get going, the enjoyment of painting itself takes over, which is
yes,
absolutely true.
yeah, I feel like once I get back started doing it, that's how it's gonna feel for me. I do have to get used to my hands feeling different, and not necessarily having as much dexterity in my fingers
Yeah,
as
the
I had
muscle memory's going to be
before.
different because you're going to remember it being different, but it's not going to be the same way.
Yeah. So whatever style I might have had before, maybe will have adjustments. It will be different now. And that's how it was the last time, when I couldn't paint and then I came back to it after 2 years being away, So I've had to do this. I know I can do it, you know. And I'm at a place right now. Uh, you'll be happy to know that uh my last CT scan that I had of, my chest, tumors, smaller. So, the chemo is working, things are shrinking. Uh, they lowered the dose of my chemo, so my side effects are not as harsh as they had been. So I'm feeling better. Uh, what was the other thing? Oh, um, oncologist listened to my lung. She said it sounded good, which is the first time it's sounded good since
May?
last year. So,
That's good.
or last May. So yeah, so these are good things you know, that are letting me know, maybe it's time to pick up a brush again. The fact that I can sit here in this chair and not be in pain in various parts of my body is, you know, that's testament to I can sit here and I can at least just prime things, you know, because just priming things is going to be like a warm up for my
hmm
hands. I mean, that's always been a warm up. Just, like if I hadn't painted in a couple of days, just kind of warm up with some priming, or or warm up with a little simple dry brushing over something, like bases or something. And so these are things that I need to remember as I get back into, you know, now I'm looking at the stuff that's on my desk and I'm like, what thing am I gonna start back with? I have this really cool warrior woman from oh gosh, who did this? Lethal Shadows. It's a STL, or it's a 3D print uh from Lethal Shadows Gaming or Lethal Shadows Miniatures. Anyways, they have a bunch of really cool sculpts that are available as STL files. I have another one of their things, which is it's like a lady coming out of a rose. So I would think a fairy. And then of course I still have my good old Nurgle dude that's mostly done.
The Red Arcane one,
Mostly.
yeah, yeah.
Mostly done.
I have a
And
lot
I
of
was
mostly
like
done
right in
models.
the middle of doing all the gross pustules, and I can see as I look at it now where I stopped with my magenta shading. I think it was magenta and red mixed together, maybe with a little yellow to get this sort of really vibrant, saturated color that I was kind of shading over this sort of greenish yellow for the pustules, but it was kind of making them look. And then I was going to go in on the pustules and add a much lighter yellowy white color. And so as I'm looking at my table, I'm already starting to, the brain is starting to work again about things that I wanted to do with things. I have this orc bust, this handsome fella. He's got all green skin, little helmet. It's got a shoulder armor, and he's gonna be fun. Looks like I started on his face. Yeah, I have a lot of things.
Hmm. And that's part of it. So if you go away for a bit, you come back, figure out, okay, now what the hell was I doing?
Yeah, I've had
But
this Nurgle model has been sitting on my desk for at least 10 years. And I've just like added to it a little bit
well,
here and
remember they say
there.
art is never completed, just abandoned.
Uh, I mean, yeah, this has been abandoned. It's not abandoned because I always intend to return, and I do return. It's just taking me a long time. You know what? It's because I love it so much.
No, that's awesome.
It just looks so happy. It's got this big smile. It just looks so happy, like it's inflicting, it's
A
disease
blessing.
on
Blessing.
everybody.
The blessing of Nurgle.
It is.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, so inherently when you get back in, it's going to take time. Just you're going to have to set aside the time to get back into it. Um, Again, like I said, in my case, it started off as just listen to a podcast. I mean, honestly, the roots of this podcast are with painting with John, which is just John wanted people to paint with him at the same time. That was sort of the idea because it was painting time and just chat and everything while you're doing it, like you get used to get at the gaming store in a lot of cases. Cathy got that at the Chicagoland bunker. We got that at the Baltimore bunker back when it was there. We got that drop zone, and then COVID sort of stole that from us. So
Yeah.
we had to find something. Get on Discord. Get your buddies on Discord. Just chat. One time I came home and literally the chat on my unit for Micro Online's Discord was like full of everyone. So I got to jump in and see what's going on. And everyone's just there, live cameras on, just chatting while they're painting and stuff. It was great.
We have a Monday night paint party in our Discord every Monday night. And you know what? Sometimes nobody's painting and we're all
Yeah.
just chatting. Sometimes half the people are painting and the other half are playing a video game and we're all just chatting.
Yeah. If it keeps you
And
into it, do it. Brain to that shit.
absolutely love Discord for that.
Yeah. We used to do it on Facebook with a Facebook video thing. We did. I forget what channel it was, but one of the channels, the guy would be like, "Oh, we're just gonna, every once in a while, Robert Durefsky's Flight Medic would start something up, and we would all jump on, and just people would come in and out, and we just paint and chat. It's great. We need to get back to that. I want
Yeah.
to say COVID's kind of stole it from us. We need to take it back. But that's a good way to get back into it. Find your friends who paint. Just get some time. If you need to, arrange it. We can schedule stuff. We're adults. We live on schedules. So go like, hey guys, let's I'm gonna say Wednesday night get in a chat and do that. Just hang out and paint together.
Yep.
Or find your Twitch streamer who's got a good schedule and paint with them. Find your
That is
podcast you
also
want.
good too. And,
Yeah.
because often you can be painting and just listening to them,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Especially a painter, because some visual stuff. So, because you need to look away from your model once in a while. Staring at your model, even if you're using a magnifier, is not great on the eyes for too long. Looking away occasionally is great. So now you've got something to focus on that is a different level from your eyes. So your eyes keep used to focusing on other places. Like honestly, when I would do even when I was doing my hobby streak, video wise, I would look here, have Chad look at, and I'd keep my other screen with something else entirely. Like right now, I have it as just a picture, so I have something else to focus on, a different depth to focus on to keep your eyes from getting fucking crazy, because they'll get
Yeah.
fucking crazy. We all sit at computers way too much for the most part.
Mhm.
So having something to focus on is good. Like they have at work, they have posters that just say inspiring things of various levels of actual inspiration, but it's good for me to stop and look away once in a while. I can go, okay, I'm going to look at that.
Yeah.
And Cathy says, socializing with friends is a form of self care. Absolutely. Like I've honestly thought of, us restarting a Discord and just having a hobby night for everyone. Like, hey, we're going to all hobby X night. Just jump in when you get a chance and hobby, and then jump out when you want to. You don't have to sit there for forever. You can just come in, chat. We say that you can talk to us about anything. We mean it, but that's a good time to get that. Your friends can help you. People will come in with problems. We'll give thoughts, whatever. That kind of thing. There's a lot of ways you can get back into painting, and I think making it social or making it a set schedule. A schedule sounds daunting. It's really not.
Well, some people do better with a set schedule, and some people do better uh with social painting.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I like to have that, just talking to people while I'm painting, and that's why I liked streaming, because I felt like I could I could be here and I could be painting and talking to people and rambling on about my process and, answering questions and then seeing, the stuff that people are saying in the chat and replying to that kind of stuff. And,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes none of it had anything to do with painting, but I was
Often.
still painting.
Yeah. It's great. That kind of thing is great for it. Just find what is going to make you motivated to paint. You know, if it be getting your friends together with you, if it be finding any of the myriad of Twitch streams, maybe even you just want a Twitch stream that's doing something else, just someone to chat with, so you can take a break in between, look at what they're doing, and then get back to what you were doing. Any of that's fine. It's all internal, much like I talked about last week of what you will and won't do in a game is internal. What gets you into hobbying and what keeps you going is internal. There's no roadmap to it, much like the rest of adulthood. It's all internal. We're all just fucking winging it and figuring out what works for us. Hobby Streak works for me, and it may not have posted for a while. It's because I've been doing fucking D&D Fourth Edition stuff that's not exciting to post on. So I'm just going to post a giant update at some point. But just do what it is. Find what it is that keeps you going and get that going. Legionnaire said previously that painting with John kept him in gaming, and he would paint for our podcast, and that kept him going. If that's what it is, do it. We're here for a good, solid painting period. If you want to paint while we're on, that's cool. If you need a painting night, get with your buddies. Get with me if you want to. Like, hey, John, do you want to set up a painting night like you said? We'll see what we can do. You know, it's
And like
you
you
gotta,
said, we have a painting night in our Discord, and
yeah.
people are welcome there too.
Jump into Discord of all your buddies where you hang out most of the time, and say, hey, I'm just gonna hang out and chat with you guys while I paint. And sometimes people will paint, sometimes they won't. Someone actually, Cathy, you'll chuckle at this probably too. One of my guys in my unit, Flint, was like, I aspire to paint like you one day, John. And I'm like, what, mediocre? He's like, no, man. If you're trying to level up, your next level's Golden Demon. I'm like, I love you, Flint, but nah, son. I'm a far cry away from that, but I appreciate you saying that very much. It's, but that kind of stuff keeps you going. People just there, we were all chatting and stuff. That kind of stuff keep you going. We do it for all sorts of things. Like Cathy said, someone will be playing a video game, someone will be hobbying, someone will be doing other things. It's all good. That social shit just keeps you together.
Cookie says, ha ha ha, my goal is just to stay in the lines. But let me tell you, Cookie Mandius, staying in the lines is overrated. Don't worry about such things. If you mess up, you can always paint over it.
I would say staying in the lines is you can absolutely clean it up, but if you can get it done, that's how you become super fast, like a Dave Taylor. Jesus Christ. Like he's always the one I'm just like, Jesus, Dave, slow down. You just painted an army and I'm like 2 models in.
Yeah. I think worrying about staying in the lines is a thing that prevents you from
Don't worry
uh
about it, but try to
yeah.
work on it. But make it a goal at some point. Like your goal is staying in the lines. Perfect.
I
That's a
think it's
great goal.
just something that you lapse into.
Yeah.
As you continue painting, the more often you paint, you know, you're just gonna fall into that at some point,
Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to focus on it so much when you're first starting.
I would say don't focus on anything. Focus on making a model you like.
Hi,
As long as you like the
Articulate
model, who
Voice.
gives a fuck?
Make your own
Right?
lines. Be a
Yeah.
trendsetter, he says.
Like look at a lot of the old GW stuff. It came up because they have new RBDs or Arbites, depending on how you want to pronounce them, for
Or as Jim said,
Kill
our
Team.
buddies.
Our buddies, yes, our buddies.
Our
They have
buddies.
new our buddies, and if you look at the original ones, a lot of them they painted like a stripe across the armor plate, all the models. That's not in the lines. That's just what they did.
Jim is not painting the our buddies.
I do kind of want the our buddies because they got a Robo Dog,
They
and
look
me and
I
dogs.
like those models though.
I
And
like
yes, the
most of
cyber
them. A
dog
couple
is
of them are a
silly.
little bit ostentatious, let's say.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But that's GW style.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll come around, Legion. It'll come around. I mean, I got the Eldar one, didn't I?
But I was telling Jim about him, and he was like, "Our buddies, huh?"
Yeah, our
Yep,
buddies. They're
that's canon now.
dog is totally worth it. I mean, because it'll stick with Aximilian, who is the bestest boy. I still have. I need to paint the rest of that band eventually. The other half of that Gellerpox you have.
Yes.
Funnily, you have more paint of the Gellerpox than I have of the Rogue Traders War band. But let's be honest, 40K changed a couple times between now and then. I'm
Yes.
not really playing necessarily 40K, though my buddies are all playing it. And we talked about they have like a small scale, like 1,000.1 in the current thing, which I've been thinking about. So we'll see. I think you might have missed that podcast, but yeah, we're talking about that. Thought you liked Moffat the Robo Dog. I do like Muffet. Muffet the Robo Dog.
Wow, that's a throwback to an earlier time.
Battlestar
Classic
Galactica. Muffet was
Battlestar
fucking great. He
Galactica.
saved the entire Galactica. That one episode where
He did.
they kept suicide fucking ramming the Galactica, and he was crawling through the ducts to help people. Yeah, sucker, like I don't remember my Battlestar Galactica. What up? I remember both Battlestar Galacticas. That's how gangsta I am. Is that actually gangsta or?
No, that is nerdsta.
Nerdsta, very good. I'm nerdsta like that. But no, Moffat and fucking like I want like fucking all like the dog and dog like buddies from fucking fiction in one team together. I want Muffet. I want fucking K9. I want fucking
Scooby-Doo?
Tipper. Scooby Doo. Fuck it. He's probably the leader. He can almost speak.
What about
Actually, no.
Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal?
K9 is going to be that. Sure, Fizzgate can come. He's great. A little weirder for a dog, but that's fine. Like all the dogs. That's what they did that in Marvel Comics. They did the Pet Avengers, like Loki and all those, and Miss Lion from fucking the Spider-Man's Amazing Friends cartoon, and Lockjaw. It was fucking great.
It's really washed out.
A little bit. Looks cool though. But yeah, that mean that. In any case, off topic again. But yeah, use paint holders. Jesus, Gonzo.
Are dogs ever off topic?
I mean, no, generally not. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, you know. We just find what keeps you going into, and I'll say this a lot. I paint a lot of models for games, but sometimes you just got to stop and just paint something else. Like I painted Aximilian.
Something that's just pretty.
Yeah, like I had this one paladin. Like that was my moment I realized I was doing better at painting, where I stopped painting, or I worked into my painting regimen, just a paladin model. I wasn't playing a paladin in D&D. Lord knows I don't get to play D&D or anything. I didn't need him for a game or anything. I just had the model for fucking ever, and I wanted to get him fucking painted. So I did. Minsk and Boo. Bought the Minsk and Boo model. I was like, fucking A, I am painting Minsk and Boo. Sometimes you have to do that. I have a very special limited edition model I think I need to paint at some point of a young lady and her plushie that I need to work on at some point. So I need to work that into my schedule. But you need to do that because if you just paint for the game, it'll start to feel like work eventually. You'll feel like, oh my God, I've got to.
It can be.
Yeah,
I have a friend who was just talking about his painting block on his Golden Demon entry that he's working on, and to solve it, he decided that he needed a palette cleanser, and he switched gears to getting a bust and working on that. Hey, Lamunas.
That's great. You need that sometimes. Sometimes you just got to paint a model you want to paint.
Yep.
You might not even finish it, but it might just be enough of it. You know, Gonzo got me that large-scale, weird Shadowruns Infinity-style dwarf that he got me. I painted a bunch on it. It was cool. It was a good change of pace for a bit. Eventually, I'll go back and paint him some more.
Yeah. This big goblin bust that Gonzo sent me was one that that's out of my normal sphere of what I'm working on. It's a much larger scale, than I'm used to, and I had so much fun painting it, and I was just slapping the paint on and pushing it around, and it was a very painterly sort of project for me, and I just had a blast with it.
Grab I painted some Armada fighters a while back. Change of pace, paint some models from a board game or something. Just do something, change of pace to keep it fresh, or even start in on that. Like some of those models, board game models, just putting like a little coat of paint and a wash on them would make a world of difference to make it just look more interesting on the tabletop when you're playing that board game. Don't limit yourself to must paint super detailed models. No, just paint something. Get in slowly if you have to. Paint the easy stuff. Like Gonzo's painting those Battletech models just using mostly contrast paints, and they're looking fucking great.
Contrast paint, dry brush, and hit a few of the details. Good, and then you're done. Those are like, I will tell you, Battletech miniatures using contrast paint, perfect example of contrast paint usage. It's got a lot of ridges, a lot of highlights, and you just dry brush it.
And they did that on purpose when they're designing it. Like if I'm on the Patreon for one of the art director, and he's like, they want those lines. They're, it's a good contrast, so to speak.
Oh yeah, and you can get them looking really good really quickly because, I mean, they have detail, but I mean, mine, when you put it on the board, it's like, those look cool. Am I going
Yep.
to win a competition for them? Hell no, but they look good.
I don't know. You might win an army competition because you've got them all painted to a very similar level. They
True.
look good together on the field,
Oh yeah.
and that matters.
But I mean, and the thing is it doesn't take long. It takes longer to let the contrast paint dry than it does to get the miniature done, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
heck, those models look better than something we're going to talk about in the media section.
Huh.
Oh my
I
god.
can't wait.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
guys, what we're really trying to say here is go do it. And don't stress about it. Just go in
Nike's
there and
right.
paint.
Just do it.
Just do it.
But find a way that makes it work for you. Figure
Yes.
out,
But
like, if you need to go, like, write down the ideas we've given you and go, okay, this didn't work, this didn't work. Oh, this works. Just find a way to make it work, you know?
I do like your idea of that Sunday listening to a podcast and starting
God,
painting when it starts and stopping painting, when it's
pretty
done.
much when it's done. Yeah, I might go a
And
little bit
I
after. It's
just,
because
cause that's just, I mean, it's kind of like your hobby streak. It's like, so this is a, a this is my time that I'm gonna set.
yeah,
I'm not gonna stress about how much I get painted in this time. I'm just gonna paint. If I feel like going over this time, I
you
can
can.
do that if I want to.
There is a ton of media out there. Like, honestly, if you like football, and I know we're getting to the end of the season here because it's the Superb Owl today,
Superb Al.
and if you like a sport, paint while you're doing the sport. Most of those sports, fair point, hockey and soccer, excluded, plenty of time to paint while they're fucking yabbering and getting ready for the next whatever.
You know what? I always loved summertime painting, listening to baseball on the radio
Yeah, base
while I'm painting.
because they're so good. Those announcers on the radio are so good.
Hmm.
Like, I'm like way better. Like, the TV announcers are fine for TV. Don't let me be disparaging to them, but the radio announcers for any sport are fucking amazing because
Because
they
they
paint a
have,
picture with their words.
that's exactly what I was just gonna say. Yeah. Yep.
They do. Because I'll do that often. I'll, like, if I'm driving home from someone's house on playoff weekend or something, I'll listen to that. I'll just turn the car and I don't not completely care about the sports ball. I just mostly don't care about the sports ball.
Yeah.
I'm
Mostly.
interested to see who won because it's going to be talked about the next day. I need to be conversed intelligently about this, or I'm going to have to lapse into nerd stuff and scare everyone away. It's kind of fun sometimes.
So,
Our
But
hockey
yeah, find what
announcers
works
were
for you.
good.
Hockey is
uh,
difficult. Basketball is difficult because there's so much action. But if you do, listen to the radio play-by-play because they will totally, as you said, paint a picture with their words.
As you said.
Yeah, well, you were going to say it too, so I'll count it as a go. Let me see about
But
this.
yeah,
Where's the
and
shuffle?
coming back to painting after not having painted in a while, uh, just give yourself some time and don't beat yourself up if you're not, you know, a Golden Demon winning painter as soon as you pick up a model for the first time after being away for a while.
I would say that painting in general, don't beat yourself up about that. Don't let other people's standards affect what you're painting.
What
Paint
about
till
my
you
own
like the model,
standards?
your own standards.
That's
That's what's
I
important.
that's what I'm reminding myself, and I have a few hurdles,
Yeah, it's going to
to
be tough getting back in anything.
yeah.
Like, people expect to come back to anything. Like, I know people who came back to, let's say, Mech Warrior Online. Like, I'm not doing well. Dude, you were away. It takes time to get back used to
Mhm.
it. Things
Yeah.
change. Just work into it. Just focus on it. Try and have fun. I know, crazy, crazy talk. Fun. And if it's not fun, stop. Figure out why it's not fun. Correct. Try again. Not the same day necessarily. Next day. Maybe next week. But work on it.
You
You
know,
can't
it's
get anywhere
funny.
without some work.
I had thought about coming back to painting with oil paints, but I still feel like it's such a different medium than my acrylics, and I've gotten to a place with my acrylics where I feel like I finally kind of have a grasp of what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
It does, because I'm
Where
still slapping paint on models.
where I don't
Make
want
fun.
to, fuck that up by switching mediums and learning a whole new, I mean, it's like learning a whole new game system.
But if you do, just manage your internal expectations. Managing expectations is important. If you don't properly manage your expectations, you're going to get really pissed off when something doesn't live up to your expectations. I had that last night. Cathy and Gonzo know it did not live to my expectations.
Yeah.
I was not good. But, unreal expectations. Expected it to be fucking amazing. It was not fucking amazing. That shit happens. If you manage your expectations, it sounds depressing sometimes. Don't expect good things. I'm not saying don't expect good things. Manage your expectations.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if Cathy comes in painting, expect your stuff to be a little rough to start. You're painting a different medium you're not used to, and you're rusty on top of that. You
And
gotta expect that.
you get these people, if you say that to them, manage your expectations, expect that you're not going to be great right out of the gate. And they'll tell you, no, no, you got to think positive. You got to think positive. But, sometimes that breaks you.
Managing expectations isn't negative. It's reality. There are three types of there is positive thoughts, which can be unhealthily positive.
Yeah.
There are negative thoughts, which can very well be unhealthy negative, but manage your expectations is never unhealthy.
I like
If
to
you
call it
exceed,
pragmatism.
boom. If you undertake, I manage expectations. I'm not expecting to come back and do something that I'm been away from forever. Like if I
Yeah,
got
Legionnaires.
yeah,
Toxic positivity.
like I played BattleTech for years and years and years and years back in the day. I haven't played it in years and years and years. I haven't played it in longer than I did play it. I still remember the rules, which is stupid, but my brain's stupid. But I'm not going to expect to jump in and play it and be like fucking grandmaster rolling everyone. Yes, that's unrealistic. You're still rusty, no matter what you do.
Hmm.
Just manage your expectations. Come in expecting, I'm a little rusty. I'm going to have little bit of trouble playing or painting. I'm not going to be as clean as I want to be. It's okay. You can clean that shit up.
And you gotta also realize you're gonna sit down at your desk and your desk is might be a stranger to you.
Yep.
You gotta you gotta
Rearrange
get
it
to
if you
know
do.
it again.
Or rearrange it. I don't want this over here anymore. I naturally reach over here. Fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this in something else. First thought, best thought. If you naturally reach for brushes with your left hand, put your brushes where your left hand can get them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. If you naturally reach your right, put it where your right can get it. If you naturally reach the water in your right, boom, put it there. If you naturally reach across everything, crazy, but that's you. Put him over there. Just set that shit up right. It'll
Legionnaire
help you get back there.
says give yourself 5 warm-up models. See what your
Yeah.
level is and what you need to work on, a la hand strength, etc.
Especially nowadays,
Yeah,
there's so many inexpensive models. Reaper Bones makes good models cheap.
I
A
do
bunch of
have
things
some
have
Reaper
sets.
Bones models kicking around here.
I mean, you even have some BattleTech models if you want to try on some of them.
I do, but they have paint on them already.
Oh, shit. Look at that. John
Yeah.
not paying attention.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
been a
you can
while
try on
since I've
something.
looked
Just
in
grab
this
something
drawer.
and
I
go.
have a Venom and I have a Space Marine and I have a Reaper Cleric.
Does
They
Venom
all have
have full
primer.
tongue or did you
They
truncate
all
this?
have primer on them, ready to be painted.
There you go. That's the best.
Also, a Chibi Godzilla,
I mean, that's obviously advanced
which
model.
technically has maybe started being painted, but I think that's also just primer, kind of a half-ass zenithal primer.
Yeah, fair
The
enough.
kids these days call it slap chop, but I always call it just half-ass zenithal.
I had the discussion. I had the discussion with Mouth John. He's like, Mouth John, look at this slap chop they're doing. He's like, I was doing slap chop before we slap chop. I'm like, yes.
Yep.
Well, that's just what you. It's funny. I like it having a name. I have but like
Yeah,
the guy who
yeah.
said they invented it, fuck right off.
Didn't invent it. No,
No.
didn't invent it.
Anyways, I think Gonzo is trying to push us towards media section.
I
I see
I
media
got
section.
that sense. I did
Yeah.
get that sense. Yeah.
I
Well,
just
I
put it
know
on the
he's
screen
excited to talk
and
about
waiting.
what we watched together.
It's like 10 minutes before the media section we were on the media screen.
All I was
Yeah.
doing was getting it prepared
Hmm.
because I know y'all get into it and you get going, and I'm just like I'm going to set it up because I was done painting. Had to let things dry. I wasn't going to go anywhere else, so I was letting my eyes rest, and I came back here and just flipped it over to the screen.
Need you there's just bah with that media. Let Cathy talk. We can talk
I mean,
about media though.
I mean, Kathy, you didn't watch anything, in the last 6, 9 months, whatever. So
Yeah, no. No, but you know what the one movie that I was watching on TV with the super long commercials was?
no, what?
It was MASH, the
oh
uh
my,
the
the movie
1970 original movie that
with the
spawned
lyrics
the
of the theme song to make you extra depressed.
Yes.
What's it
Yes, with
called? Like
that
I forget what it is. You have to
Suicide
say
is
the whole time.
Painless, the theme
From
song for
Mash.
MASH.
Yeah, you have to say the full title
Uh
because the guy's a fuckwit or something.
I hadn't seen it in a long time and
I'd rather watch
it
episodes of Mash.
it's it doesn't stand up but to uh to the times these days. But
Mash.
also for a comedy, there's a lot of dark things, issues that they address
They do.
in
Like,
that movie.
well, even in the TV series for comedy, they
It,
address some serious
yeah,
shit. There's some really. Mash is fucking. I will still say, I don't care what anyone says, is still the best TV show of all time.
it absolutely is. I agree with that
Because think about
100%.
when I was watching TV at 7 or 8 year old, and MASH would still fucking be riveting to me.
Yeah,
And as an adult, I see things I didn't see. Like we watched MASH for the fucking lulls back then. Now we're like lulls and like, oh god, this is fucking serious, good, serious shit.
MASH taught me um all my sarcasm.
Well,
And
Hawkeye would definitely teach you some
as a,
sarcasm.
as a child, because my dad, that was one of his favorite TV shows, and so if he was watching it, I was watching it
I would watch
because
something else. It was
he
crazy.
was not a parent who would put on kids shows because the kids wanted to see them. He was like, "You're just gonna watch what I watch,"
Mm-hmm.
and it was MASH.
But
but
anyways,
but
MASH
yeah,
movie, MASH TV show, mwah, chef's
the
kiss.
movie the movie is amazing though. Like
It is,
there
but
are
it's
parts of it that are misogynistic. There are parts of it where it's like holy shit that they're playing this thing for laughs, which is like
not okay anymore.
not okay at all
Well, we had
anymore.
this discussion with my crew last night because I was after we got done doing characters, we were watching YouTube and music was on the background the whole time, and it got to a live Leonard Skinner, part of a concert. In the back, they've got the first battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia flying, and I'm like, stop! I'm like, for God's sake, is this okay? Like for the time, probably, because it's not like you really get the gist that they're racist or anything like that. That was just what Southern pride back is it was in the day. Is it okay now? No, it's not okay now. But that's the weird thing about watching movies.
Yeah.
Things are like of the time, and you're like, I no, I don't think you can do that anymore.
It's a weird mental adjustment, to look at that stuff and be like, that was
Yeah, that's not
yeah.
okay. Well, Revenge of the Nerds,
Oh
not
wow.
Also,
okay
High Trainer
anymore. Not
Legion.
even close. But anyways, what would you give MASH the movie, or at least the half you watched before the
Mash
commercials
the
made you quit?
movie Mash the movie still gets maybe one space herpy because it is an excellent movie and the space herpy is for the shit that's
So,
just not okay anymore.
yeah, fair enough. That's fair.
But when you watch it on TV,
I don't.
on the old movies channel with commercials,
I'm not sure it's
it is
super.
so long. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's not a short movie. MASH movie.
I
Uh,
recommend not watching it on broadcast TV with commercials.
Fair. You cannot stream it for free. You can
You just
buy
buy
or
it.
rent it on anywhere. Actually,
Just buy
uh,
it.
Amazon, so Prime Video, Vudu, Google Play, or iTunes. So there you go. 1971. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't born.
Neither were
Anyway,
I.
so Gonzo, you want to skip what we were talking about together? Or you want to start somewhere else?
I want to talk about. I'm still watching Last of Us. By the way, on HBO Max, they dropped
You
a
and
new
I.
episode on Friday instead of today because of the Super Bowl.
That's
But
fair. That's actually a really good idea.
yeah, this series is just unbelievably great. I knew what was coming up in this newest episode, and I was still waiting for my, soul to be crushed type thing. And it was still, I was like, damn, this is still good. If you played the game, you know what's coming up. And you're like, oh, this is going to be a shitty part and stuff. But you're watching this and you're like, these actors are just doing spot on. They
Is this the
are
team that
doing,
did Chernobyl?
yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, they're-
Yeah, they're not fucking around.
yeah, they weren't with Chernobyl either. But
Yeah,
that's fair.
but I mean, they they picked the right people to play the right parts, and in this one, it was spot on again. They're just hitting them out of the park. I mean, this is one of the best TV series I've watched in a long time. And I mean, I'm not like typical where I'm doing something. I'm like glued watching, and my full attention is on this show, and I love this show so much. So far, the series has got a zero space herpes for me. Um, I do have a concern because season one is the first game and season two is going to be the second game. And depending on how, the break in time comes up between it, they could be catching up to the series. And I don't know if they're going to go past season two because there isn't been a Last of Us 3 yet, even though they said that there's a good possibility it's going to be coming out. But still, I don't care. They're doing really, really good. I am enjoying the shit out of this show. Um, there are some very beautiful and wonderful parts of it, and then there's some soul crushing, depressing parts of it. But that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah,
This is a story about humanity after a major apocalyptic change with zombies. It's not
I
about the
always feel
zombies.
like there's a line in Battlestar Galactica, my apocalyptic show of choice, where Adama says it's not just about surviving; it's about being worthy
Yes.
of surviving. And I feel like all the apocalyptic shows hit that in a different way.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
feel like you have those beautiful episodes to show you, yes, humanity is worthy of surviving.
And it's been great. So I don't care. Not
Cool.
everything has been wonderful. I even got Captain Mizzy started on it, and you know she was like, and now she's like, yes, this is a beautiful TV show.
Good.
Heard so many good things about it.
It's
Do
amazing.
not have HBO Max, so I will have to wait until I see that till later.
John, you want
Well,
to go with our
I have other things to talk about, sir.
what? Wait a minute.
So,
Wait a minute. Did you watch all 13 episodes and something else?
fuck you. Yes, I did, bitch.
I love you too.
Yes. So, the third episode related to what we're going to talk about of Hired Steel, which is a fan-made BattleTech project, dropped this week on Friday. And just like the other two, was fucking chef's kiss. It's great. The guys doing it have great animations. It's very cool, and the voice acting is amazing. Like they're not professional voice actors. None of them are professional voice actors. They're all people involved in the BattleTech fandom in some way. Like the main, you call him protagonist, leader of the protagonist Lance is Tex from the Black Pants Legion. They've got Baradol, who was a big mech warrior and BattleTech streamer and YouTuber doing a voice. They've got Aggie Lawgirl, who does some streaming for that stuff, doing a voice. They've got Sean from No Guts, No Galaxy doing voice. It's great. They just get people from all sorts of stuff doing it, and I love it. It's super fun. It is absolutely zero space herpes. They're only a couple minute episodes. Watch them all. They are a great show of the coolness of BattleTech. See, look, quick and easy.
So let's talk about the big elephant in the room that John's like, you have to watch this.
The battle mech in the room? Yeah. Yeah. Now, in my defense, I recall it being different. Better than it was.
I had never seen it before. And if I did, I don't remember it at all. Because I watched it. It's 13 episodes of BattleTech.
There's technically 14 episodes, but one's a clip episode that I don't think anyone watches because you don't need to anymore now that you just fucking watch all the episodes on YouTube.
Yeah. I think it was like 5A is what it was listed as or something like that.
Yeah, there's all the episodes are on YouTube. Helm Memory Core has them remastered, quote unquote, of varying degrees of quality, best they could find. Yes, Cookie Man is the animated one.
Yeah. And
where to start? Where do you want to start, Gonzo?
Okay, first things I want to say is you're not a cool badass character in the story unless part of your shirt is ripped and it has to be right around the biceps area.
That's because they had that fight in episode 1.
I feel like it should be right across here, according to Captain Kirk.
It was just funny. Every time I saw somebody, I was like waiting to see the ripped shirt on the side of the arm. Nah, he's not a badass. He'll die.
Can you not fix your shirt?
Yeah, I know.
It's been months. You can change your shirt.
So let's talk about the writing in this. Every line that was written in this was meant to make you go, oh yeah, oh, you know.
The writing is definitely hit or miss, mostly.
Yes.
So I find that of the 13 episodes, 4 or 5 are actually decent / good. They're interesting. I do love. Now the dialogue is all cheesy as fuck.
Yeah, 90 bad. This could have been an 80s cheesy. It could have fit into 80s cheese.
I like that they put stuff out there and they don't explain it. They make you figure it out through context clues. They don't have the person there to explain. Well, this means this. Like once in a while they will, but that part is naturally worked in. So I give it points for that. Not the only point to fucking give it.
Yeah.
It does also cover some things that happened in the actual regular fiction.
I do have a question for you. Sure. This was an original story? This is not something that was made up in one of the books?
No, though it does incorporate some characters from the Blood of Kerensky trilogy and some events.
Gotcha. But this wasn't
tell who they are because they're sort of shoehorned in, and actually one of them is one of the better episodes.
But this wasn't a story in one of the books. This was something they wrote out of context. Okay. I thought so.
And actually, as Legionnaire said, technically they've written this into the continuity. It's not part of the real continuity. Technically, this is in-universe propaganda that was played in the universe as like while the clans were invading. Like, hey, look, it was a TV show they made in the universe during the clan invasion, which is funny. Let's talk about
animation.
Let's not. This was made in 1994.
I thought it was 92.
94.
It was what I really thought so funny was, they had it's your standard 90s cartoon animation. Not great by any standard.
Really not. It's worse than 80s animation. I swear that G.I. Joe and Transformers have better animation than this, and they predate it by 10 years.
And everything is really off-centered and really weird, off-putting, and proportions are wrong. But let's talk about the enhanced battle mode.
Enhanced imaging?
Yes, enhanced imaging.
Can we not?
I mean, you were like, okay, cool. The clans have this advanced imaging, and it looks shittier than the hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's bad. Because I looked it up and I was like, what, I'm trying to remember what was, computer animation at that time frame. And then I found out like the reboot cartoon was made before this. And the reboot cartoon had pretty decent at that time.
It probably also had a real budget.
Yes. You can tell that they were working off of, one person in his
They
basement.
only made 13 episodes for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And only 4 or 5 of them were actually worth a shit.
Because like the
So,
explosions, it would be a screen, and then like a arm would fall off, or the arm would disappear.
yeah, it's not good.
I mean,
Really
this is
not good.
bad.
Like the only thing going for it is it does introduce you to the broad strokes of clan culture.
Yes.
The broad strokes of the clan invasion, and like a lot of the stuff they use are actually terms, even though they have this habit of showing up and just saying, "We fucking own you," and like that's not how that works, fucker. Even in your culture, but yeah, it's a piece of history that exists on YouTube. If do something else while you're watching it,
Or just don't watch it at all.
or don't watch it at all. I'm gonna give it 4. I'm giving it
I give you 4. It is quite. I mean, you watch the first episode and you get exactly how all the animation
Gonzo
is.
now has an idea of what a bachal is.
Yes. And as soon as that line came up and the picture came up, I go, "Oh, that's the meme."
Yes, that's the meme. Yeah, so no. Watch Hired Steel instead. It is way better.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. It's bad.
There's some cores there. Like I feel like someone could have taken this and it could easily have been an above average, but you would have had to have a real animation studio.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not Cat's bad.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, it's like
Atlantic Rim.
No, Atlantic Rim's very worse.
Okay. Making sure.
But it is bad.
Because the graphics are somehow more insulting in Atlantic Rim than they are in this, which is actually impressive.
Yeah.
Think about it.
This is like...
like, man, the first episodes are fucking hard.
You know,
They're
Legionnaires,
hard to
I've
watch.
never...
They are cringy as fuck sometimes.
Legionnaire says that we need to do the Heavy Gear cartoon. And I don't even know, can we get the Heavy Gear cartoon?
I would like a week off before I have to do a Heavy Gear cartoon. Like, I know this was my idea, and that's why I watched them all.
Next month.
I'll let Cathy's thought next month.
It'll be March.
Long way away.
Yeah.
If you can find it. I need to...
have no
like,
clue.
I'm thinking as a palate cleanser, I'm going to go watch the entire complete collection of the D&D cartoon, which I fucking own, and I'm sure it's going to be better.
Oh, it is.
Probably say enough. And, I mean, it's not exactly good itself, but... It's like one of those things, if you watched it when you were younger and have nostalgia for it, cool. Live on the nostalgia, don't watch it again.
Ever.
No.
Ever, ever, ever.
No.
Cathy, you got something you want to go with?
So I was watching broadcast TV. And I was flipping through the channels, and there was some crazy channel that plays old movies of a usually weird and horror kind of bent. And there was a show called It's Alive.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about... So I missed the beginning I didn't even see the entire thing. I'm curious though. I kind of feel like I want to go back and find it and watch it like without TV commercials and whatnot. As near as I could tell, it's about a woman and a pharmaceutical company. And this pharmaceutical company decided to experiment with their drugs. And this woman thought she was taking birth control, but it was something else. And she got pregnant, and she gave birth to this monster baby that would be able to, like the bunny from, Monty Python.
Yeah.
Fly at you and like rip your throat out.
Wow. I'm reading the Wikipedia and like, wow.
Oh, yeah. I remember when this came out.
Art of Michael Lavoie, you've seen the movie Traumatized. Oh my God, you were 6? I can only imagine. Holy smokes. It was so terrible. But yeah, if I was a kid and I was watching that, it would freak me out. There were some there were some moments in it that were genuinely creepy. Mostly it was terrible, but there were some genuinely creepy moments.
Huh.
Also, yeah, totally for space herpes.
Yeah, had Michael and Sarah in it. It was like one of those geek guys who's been been in a bunch of things. He was Kang in the original Star Trek series.
Hmm.
He's one of those one of those
There
art
were a
actors I
couple of
like.
familiar faces in it for sure.
Yeah, cool,
But yeah, it's
interesting.
alive
Anyways,
for space herpes. It'd be a good one for like if you're watching Halloween movies.
okay. My other one and last one is I did finish reading the Last Ronin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, and it's a bit of a gut punch because I mean it's future and they're sort of like written ending. I mean it's the last Ronin, so it's the last turtle. So obviously the other ones are dead. But
Oof.
while that normally can be very super negative, it's Eastman and Lara doing it too, their creators, and they did a fucking great job. And at no point, like it's a little gut punch, but it's not like angering or devastating or anything. It's like, oh shit, this is the story as it went. And I thought it was very good. It was well worth the pickup and enjoyable as hell. I'm gonna give it 0. I'm not quite wasn't riveted, but I was trying to read it before I go to bed, so nothing's riveting when you're fucking tired as fuck. But great, and I cannot suggest it enough.
I also finished the National Treasures: Edge of History on Disney Plus. I finished that series up. Um, it's what you would expect from a Disney young adult National Treasure. Is it
Fair enough.
great?
Hmm.
No. Is it okay? It's not bad. Do I think it'll get renewed? In today's day and age, I doubt it, but I've seen other things get renewed that shouldn't
It
be.
sounded it sounded worse than Willow.
I liked it less than Willow. Because there is some stuff that is very CW, and there's some stuff you're like, what? What the?
Oh, a
What?
lot of YA stuff's gonna feel CW to us because we're getting old.
Yeah. But
Here to tell you.
there was just some things that were happening. I was like, that, okay, no. I'll let it slide. Let it go. Because
Yeah, but
even the cool little national treasure things about secret societies and cool little puzzles that the puzzles just didn't make sense. They're like, hey, you got to figure this puzzle out. Oh, I know this. No one's been able to figure that out in 75 million years, but me that just gets all my news from the internet, I can solve this in 20 seconds because I can read all this ancient language. And I was like,
I mean, it it's a lot like the BattleTech series we watch where things happen because they have to happen, not
yeah.
because they fucking make sense.
Yeah.
It gets my standard 2.5 meh type
Fair
thing.
enough.
I don't think it is. Um,
Captain Mizzy
Captain
says
Maisie.
it's CW-ish for her too. Very well.
Yeah.
It's probably CW-ish.
Um, I'd be surprised if it got renewed for another season. They left it open for another season, of course. But if they do, I doubt it. Because even
Well,
Disney is dropping shows like crazy.
I don't know
Um,
like crazy, but I mean, a lot of places are just like, this sounds like it was not well received enough to not get renewed.
yeah.
I mean, it is what it
Um,
is. Sometimes it's just going to happen.
because I know that
They
they
can't all be Firefly.
recently the Benedict Cumberbatch or the Benedict Society that was on Disney Plus that got canceled.
I mean, I never watched it, so.
No, I did because I thought it was kind of neat, but it got
I
canceled.
mean, let's be honest, they know what their bread and butter is.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars and Marvel.
Yep.
Anything else they can get to stick is going to be great. That's why they're trying a lot of other things. And to an extent, it's cool.
I
I mean, it's
hear
kind of
they're going to
unfortunate.
have the newest season of Doctor Who on there.
Yeah, they get Doctor Who
Okay.
And
coming.
since I haven't seen any Doctor Who since they decided to put it behind a paywall
Yeah,
on
yeah.
I don't even know where it is. Where's it
Yeah, I don't either.
where's it streaming now? because it's not streaming on any of the places that I used to watch it.
I think when it goes live, I think we're going to get all of it, at least all the modern stuff. At least I think we're going to get that on
God, I would love
Disney
that. I would
Plus.
love to
Yeah,
rewatch the Ninth Doctor.
I mean, just literally Eccleston through.
Oh,
Like I stopped in the middle of Matt Smith or towards the end of
Eccleston
Matt Smith.
Tennant. I would love to see Peter Capaldi. I saw the first 2 episodes of him, and that's when they removed it from Amazon Prime.
I've seen clips and I like his style a lot, but I also want to see the one movie where they've got Matt Smith, David Tennant, and John Hurt because that's a fucking lineup.
Oh, that was the 50th anniversary one.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I've seen some clips, but that's fucking lineup there.
it was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's our episode.
I'll make their podcast. No crazy thing that Gonzo and I have to watch and suffer through.
And look, I made it through the whole thing,
Yes.
and I'm still alive. And after this, I'm gonna go play some Civ 6. I'm taking a little break from Valheim because, frankly, my hands could use a break from all that keyboard stuff that you have to do in it.
Yep. Well, guys, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. Make sure to join us next week. We'll be back. What we're going to talk about, we'll figure out an hour before the show.
So Gonzo will figure out halfway through the week, but he'll tell me an hour before the show. Oh, John, we're talking about this thing, and I'm to fucking wing it again. Luckily, that's my fucking style.
Yes. Guys, we're going to send y'all off.
In your pants.
We're going to send y'all off to the Painting Dad. I think he's doing some Warhammer models. He could use some viewers. Guys, stick around and join him and give him a good like and a follow. Tell him that you're coming from us. Other than that, for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Cathy.
Good night. Dun, 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 dun.
Successful Cathy episode. Yeah.
It's the bag. It's in the hole.